15,000 animals, 11,000 veterinary cases a year, more than 500 animal births and hatchlings. What does it take to maintain one of the world's best zoos?
The food we feed to the animals is about 200 tons every month.
You can have a good male, you can have a good female, there's nothing wrong with them, there's just no chemistry.
4.5 million people visited Singapore's wildlife parks last year, generating more than $100 million in admission and rides alone. But this year, a global pandemic is cutting off their main source of revenue. How are they dealing with it?
Our manager informed us saying that, hey, you guys will have to do a virtual show.
On the Red Duck has been given unprecedented access, from conservation to education.
Move! Faster! We must catch the cheetah!
Discover the secret inner life of the animals and the people of the zoo. Since it opened in 1973, the Singapore Zoo has never been this quiet for this long. In April, the COVID-19 pandemic forced the zoo to close for almost 3 months. Dr. Cheng Wen Hao has been with the zoo for 18 years. And he's the man in charge of park operations, from conservation to animal welfare.
We were concerned that some food items might not be able to get to Singapore. There are animals to rely on. Our staff members have to work under split shift, so there's the physical hardship, there are fewer staff members to look after the animals.
The zoo might be devoid of visitors, but within the 4 wildlife parks, life goes on for the 15,000 animal residents.
Yes.
Their meals must still be delivered on time. And their homes still cleaned regularly.
Some of the more astute species, such as the very curious monkeys, the keepers did notice that they seem a little bit puzzled. Why has it been so quiet? But over the last few weeks, the animals have seemed to adapted to the new normal.
With no visitors, no shows, and no feedings by guests, even the staff has been reduced to just those doing essential work. Dr. Charlene Yong is a vet at the zoo's animal hospital. Aside from treating the zoo's residents, she also handles a menagerie of wildlife, most of them rescued by NParks or acres. A day before, zoo staff brought in a wild Malayan colugo, found stranded near its premises.
They've got this big membrane between their legs and their forearms, and they glide from tree to tree. The tricky thing with colugos is when they land on the ground, they can wear their nails down. They really need their claws to be sharp and of the right shape to be able to not just cling to the trees, but to climb and land on them.
The rescued colugo is uninjured, but Charlene notices that its nails are somewhat worn, and that could have caused it to be stranded on the ground. She gets to work sharpening them. The team will also attach a radio transmitter to its back. Every year, the zoo's veterinary staff treat nearly 2,000 wild animals, including rescues, animals confiscated from the illegal wildlife trade, and those gifted to the zoo. Nearly 60% of the cases recover well enough to be returned safely to the wild. the more seriously injured are absorbed into the zoo's collection.
As we become more and more integrated between urban and rural, we will see more wildlife that require rescuing. Just because they might be displaced, their homes, environments are modified and they haven't adapted to it or do not have the opportunity to adapt.
But despite its efforts to treat and protect wildlife, the Singapore Zoo, like its counterparts around the world, is facing questions about its relevance. Critics say wild animals should not be held captive. And that zoos are exploiting them for entertainment and profit.
We are not just a place where we have animals for entertainment. We do so much more for the animals. Most of these animals have a better life here than a lot of them do in the wild. Everything is provided and we strive for the best healthcare or the best welfare for the animals.
Meet one of the zoo's newest residents, Raja.
Raja is a Sri Lankan leopard that we acquired about a month ago from Indonesia. He's part of an exchange program with the hope of getting him to breed with a Sri Lankan leopard female that we have here.
Raja is one of about 90 Sri Lankan leopards housed in zoos around the world. His species is facing extinction due to poaching and the loss of their natural habitats. Less than 1,000 are left in the wild. If the zoo succeeds in this breeding program, it'll be the first leopard birth in the Singapore Zoo in more than 2 decades. Today, the veterinary team is conducting a health check on the 14-year-old leopard.
We do a reproductive health check on him just to make sure that he is a good breeder. We were using the electroejaculator machine. It has a probe where you insert that into the animal's rectum, using electricity to stimulate the muscle contractions to then produce semen. It's a foolproof technique to collect semen under anesthesia. Yeah.
The vets are collecting Raja's semen to check if his sperm are healthy. It will also be stored to be used for research or artificial insemination if the need arises.
We cannot just always leave it to nature. A lot of times by doing that, the animals go extinct. So if we don't intervene early, I don't think they'll actually have a chance.
While the vets focus on the high-stakes conservation work, zookeepers are helping the animals stay engaged during the circuit breaker. At the river safari, Sam, an oriental pied hornbill, is going through his paces with his trainer, Elisha Natasha. With no visitors and no shows for 3 months, the 7-year show veteran is taking the time to pick up new skills.
For the hornbills, we actually managed to train a new behavior for him, where he will run along the vine to pick up a grape. How we push them to be more focused is by food, actually, because they're so motivated by food. So he will come out because he knows, oh, I got food.
In the wild, they would have worked very, very hard to get their food. So under our environment, it just becomes too simple for them. They can get very bored very easily. We need to challenge them to solve problems that they would need to do in the wild to survive. One of the indicators for our animal welfare is for the animals in our care to show as wide a range of natural behavior as possible that they would in the wild.
To help keep the animals occupied, the zoo staff got creative.
During circuit breaker, because visitors cannot visit our parks physically, we create a few programs. One of them is Hello from the Wild side, for them to, to dial in and to say hello.
Okay. Hi, hello kids. Hey, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, so are you ready to start? Yeah, because I'm ready as well. So hello there. My name is Sharil, and I'll be your host for this Hello from the Wild Side.
Senior trainer presenter Sharil Saini is live streaming from the Jurong Bird Park. It's a special show just for 6-year-old Olivia Wee, her friends and family.
Okay.
Okay, so it's her birthday, so I thought it would be educational and interesting and fun for them to interact.
Hey there! This is Quincy. Quincy, say hello.
Hello.
Very nice. Yes, young lady, you have a question? What's your question?
How does the bird talk?
Oh, okay. We train many birds to talk, to sing. We spend thousands of hours, but not all these... She really likes singing, huh? Not all these birds can successfully... Quincy! Not all these birds can successfully talk. One of my favorite things for this virtual program is to be able to tell the camera, hey, come close. It's very intimate. The camera can actually zoom in and see the scales on the legs, and I like that. Oh yes, you have a question. What's your question?
Why do we have 2 legs?
Why they only have 2 legs? Ooh la la! That is a very tough question to answer. I'm asking for divine intervention here to tell me why do they only have 2 legs and not 4. Are you ready to see the next animal?
Yes.
Here comes the greatest flamingos from the continent of Africa. Oh, look at them.
It's a totally different experience, and even when you're physically at the zoo, I mean, the animals are still a distance away. They're still behind a glass screen. Learn online. It's still a really good experience for them.
I want to say thank you very much for joining us in Hello from the Wild Side. Do take care. You're most welcome. Okay, and stay safe always. Okay. All right, children. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you ready to visit Wild Africa? Yes! Okay, so let's go.
With all school excursions suspended because of COVID-19, zoo educator Sherilyn Kwa has been bringing the wildlife experience to classrooms.
Hello! So what's your name?
My name is Amos and I'm from P1 Integrity.
Okay, hello Amos. So why do you think the rhinos like to stay in the mud?
Maybe it's for them to prevent them from predators.
Move! Faster! You must catch the cheetah! Run faster! Okay, do you think we caught the cheetah? Yes or no? Okay, yes. Now I see a lot of yeses.
For younger children, it always starts with raising awareness to inspire them to love wildlife. If zoos are forced to close, children will lose that opportunity to create that personal connection with an animal.
If there's no zoos, then we cannot see animals from Africa and other countries. So we have to go all the way to Africa. And I don't even know whether Africa has an airport.
After being closed for nearly 4 months, the night safari is preparing for its opening night.
during the COVID period, they are actually out, the sun is up. So we need to adjust them back to their usual mode of activity.
These trams have been idle for 4 months. Zoo staff will get them running again to get the animals reaccustomed to them. Sutra, a Malayan taper calf, turns 1 today. And her keepers are anxiously making sure that the passing trams don't stress her out.
It's the first day that baby Sutra is seeing the tram. I think she might be a little bit shy and a little bit apprehensive. She might not go near the tram, she might actually move away from the tram.
Two hours later, Sutra still refuses to go near. The keepers must fall back on their secret weapon.
Want to have food, she'll follow you anywhere. We will get the driver of the tram to actually rev a little bit so that next time if the driver happens to increase speed, the animals won't get too spooked.
The trams will continue to run for the next 4 nights until the night safari's reopening. But how will the animals take to the return of their human guests? It's the 3rd of July, nearly a month after Singapore ended its circuit breaker. And the zoo is welcoming its members for a special preview ahead of its official reopening.
The service focus for today is safety. Only 3 special feedings: giant tortoise, giraffe, and rhino.
With safe distancing rules strictly in place, visitor numbers have been slashed to a maximum of about 2,000, less than half of its usual daily crowd.
We were very excited this morning, especially the kids. They woke up very early.
And it's a great place to go to just relax and learn about animals and look at cute animals.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite animal in the zoo?
Crocodile and the giraffe and the hyena.
But are the animals just as keen?
Yeah, here he comes. He is the most selfie taken animal in the zoo, I would say.
At 43 years, Charlie is the Singapore Zoo's oldest Sumatran orangutan. Head keeper Kumaran Seshi has been taking care of him since 2006.
When you see a crowd there, he will just come to the front, show himself. And he's very impressive for his size, right? Being a very big male orangutan. So people get very excited when they see Charlie, and Charlie gets very excited when he sees people. The only time probably he moves away from the glass panel is when we call him for a training session or when we call him to give him his food. And when he vocalizes, all that is saying, "Welcome back to the zoo."
Nampak tak? Foreign tu.
At the red-ruffed lemur enclosure, 2 of the zoo's youngest residents are meeting visitors for the first time.
The lemur. Hi, lemur.
These 2 critically endangered red-ruffed lemurs were born in the zoo in February. 5 months on, the babies are joining their parents in welcoming visitors to their island home.
Is it cool? Yeah. We have our male Bosco, Minnie, the mother, and the 2 young ones. The babies, on the first day, they were afraid to go out, but over the next few days, they started to see some of our fellow keepers, our veterinarians, and that's where they started to realize that they are not the only ones around. When it comes to feeding, Bosco, naturally being the male, he will actually take his food, go further up the tree, and then he will eat in peace. And then also at the same time looking over the kids. And they'll sit at the high point and look for any predators.
Morning. Welcome back to the zoo. Hi.
Hi.
Having a good day at the zoo today? Just arrived?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Hopefully next time when you come, we don't have to wear the mask anymore so that I can see your face.
But behind the smiles, Dr. Cheng knows that the zoo will face a lot of challenges ahead. Running at 25% capacity means the zoo will have to tap on its reserves to pay staff salaries and feed its 15,000 animals.
A lion's share of our income depending on visitors. The support of our local community is absolutely essential during this time because we are not getting any overseas tourists coming right now.
Adi.
Over the many years, we've built up a team of very dedicated, hardworking staff members. So these are all the strengths that we will be banking on during this difficult period of time.
Yesterday we got this python. The lower jaw is missing. Some of the scales are missing as well.
Not being able to eat over an extended period of time, this python would probably had a really slow, suffering death.